Good morning, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are. We're going to start this in just a few minutes. I love that song. Part of the reason why I chose it for my channel. All right. So just go ahead and get into this real quick. Part of the reason why I decided to go ahead and do my first live is that I've hit... Oh, wrong one. I've hit 50. Congratulations to me, but also thank you. Much love to everybody who has watched the videos and subscribed to my channel. So you can see right here, definitely grown since April. I started with 0. I put out a few last year, not very many, but I started rapidly gaining subscribers right around September. Sure, I lost a few, but definitely started shooting up in December. So that's when I started making a whole lot more videos. Thank you very much to everybody. But on to the actual topic for today. I'm going to start with on last week's Libs today. I'm going to make this full screen. We're going to start with the man dressed as Batman. I believe they called him Gay Batman, but that's neither here nor there. I'm going to go ahead and watch this. I have actually not watched this entire thing, but I've only seen pieces, so I'm going to go ahead and comment on it as it goes.
What the fuck are we doing here?
Right off the bat, obviously, man is very distressed, very angry. I absolutely get that, especially in the current situation that's going on right now. But there is a level of decorum that both the right and the left should be observing when it comes to being in any kind of political forum. So again, I get it, but that's both the left and the right. You really don't need that. I mean, come on.
Seriously, you have had months to prepare for this upcoming event. I don't give a damn if this is outside of decorum. People are dying.
Well, at least he recognizes it's outside of decorum. This is also, just to make sure that we know, oh, it's on full screen.
On our streets every single day.
This is the Bay City area. This is from KTVU Fox 2. This is, I believe, Santa Clara. Yeah, Santa Clara City Council. This is not Minneapolis, so this doesn't pertain to that particular situation.
In this country, because we allow this federal government to walk all over you. Look me in the eye. Can any one of you go home to your children and tell them that you did everything you could to protect their classmates?
I understand why he's saying it, but that still appeals to an emotion, and it doesn't make for a very good argument.
To protect their grandparents? To protect them? I don't think you can, with the exception of Park. Thank you. This needs to have happened 2 months ago, but you can still make it up and make every single policy on this little sheet of paper here happen right now.
But to be fair, I also don't know the context of what he's arguing about. So part of that is on me. You'd think that when you go up there, you would talk about exactly what you want them to do rather than just, you should be doing this thing. Maybe there's a bit more context here in the comments, or excuse me, the description. Tasked for not taking an official stance specifically against ICE agents ahead of the Super Bowl. Well, that's not really what they should be doing to begin with, because they're a federal agency. Federal agents have jurisdiction over the entire United States. Therefore, it's not really the city council's business.
Happened before the Super Bowl. Happened before potentially hundreds of masked men come into our city and kill people. I am disgusted by each and every one of you, with the exception of Councilmember Park, that you have not done something more. You need to affirm that no city resources will go to ICE, that no cooperation will be given to them.
But why? You've got to give it an actual reason why, sir. All you said is that you don't want it to happen, but what's your reasoning? I understand if you don't want it to, but you need to give us an actual argument other than emotionally based, this can't be happening. You tried to appeal just seconds before about grandparents need to be safe, children need to be safe, parents need to be safe, but you've not given an actual reason why. This is why your argument is only emotion-based. You have no reasoning.
You need to affirm to the country, to the world, that you are not cowards. Because as of right now, I stand in front of a council of cowards. And if you do not act, you're not just cowards, you are traitors. Traitors?
It's bringing out the big T word. The problem is that the city council is there to help protect the citizens of the city. They do what's best for the citizens as far as local ordinances, organizing events, and things like that. So as long as they are doing their duty as far as that goes, I have no idea why this man is getting all up in arms about this. ICE, once again, has federal jurisdiction, and they actually should be cooperating with ICE as the city council in order to facilitate getting illegals out of the way, because illegals are not citizens. And we'll look up the Fifth Amendment because that's what everybody wants to go to in a few minutes.
To each and every individual you serve, to each and every individual that lives in this country, legal or not, you need to do something about getting these policies into writing, ensuring that your officers do not cooperate with ICE.
Okay, so again, he has no prescriptions. He only has a description. You need to do something. Something. What is it, sir? Offer us a suggestion. You're over here only being emotional. You have no suggestions that we could possibly talk about, argue amongst each other and themselves. You've given us nothing to think about besides, you need to do something. No. You're just angry and emotional.
Ensuring that they cannot use city resources, that they cannot tap into city data before more people die. Yes, more people die. I don't think I need to go into how many people have been shot, how many people have been taken, how many children have been abducted and used as bait. I don't need to tell you that. You see it on the TV every single day. I don't want you to sit back and watch. I want you to fucking do something.
Well, let's go ahead and look at that real quick. Let me verify what this was from. So this is 4 days ago. Let's see. How many illegals have been... How many illegals have ICE arrested in Santa Clara in 2025? And this is just, I used DuckDuckGo. Let's see, the search assist doesn't give me anything. Looks like I'm not going to get an actual quick statistic. I'd have to dive into ICE's operation statistics. Unfortunately, that's going to take a little while. I really don't want to do that on a live stream. I might do that for a video, though.
Each and every one of these people who have came up has been very polite, very earnest, very kind, pleading you, begging you to do something. I'm not begging you. I'm fucking demanding that you act with some semblance of a fucking spine. Do something.
Angry Batman is angry that he doesn't have a sense of decorum, but decorum should be recognized, and yet he refuses to act as such. They should have removed him, but that's just my opinion. I'm going to go over here real quick to the Fifth Amendment, because that's what a lot of these libs use to argue as far as due process. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia or in service of actual time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be witness against himself, nor deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Now here's the key point. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime. And then you go down here, nor shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Well, the problem here is illegals are not being killed. They're being arrested. Liberty applies to the liberties that we are given under our laws, which applies to citizens. And their property, well, there's a case to be made that their property is also gained illegally, therefore it's not theirs. That's something for a court to handle, for lawyers to argue. That's why I said there is an argument to be made there. That's not really for me to say, just something to think about. The next thing I wanted to go on to is Don Lemon. And in case anybody's missed it, Don Lemon was a part of the church storming that happened last week. Let's see here. I've seen quite a few videos on that one, and I had the perfect one picked out. And I apologize for not having it pulled up already. The one that breaks it down really nicely is Officer Tatum. If you guys don't watch him, he's a former police officer. Where is it? There it is. Give me just a moment to present this. My apologies. Ooh. Not sure why that was on that. All right, now, the First Amendment, since he just mentioned it, the First Amendment, yeah, it protects the freedom of the press, but it does not, as we all know, protect the freedom of the press to commit crimes. And Officer Tatum, and I want to show the whole thing, but Officer Tatum does end up going into it by saying that the fact that Don Lemon went into the church and interrogated people, because that's what he did. He didn't ask questions. He interrogated people. And the fact that he was asked to leave and refused to, and then went and asked more people questions. Not only was he trespassing, so that's at a minimum, but he had prior knowledge that they were going to break in and do what they did, but he didn't leave when he was supposed to. He kept on interrogating people. So there are arguments there to be made that as he was involved with the group of people, that's, I believe, false imprisonment. So yeah, you can, I think he's screwed. Let's see real quick. I want to make sure, is K2 still in here? Just want to make sure to say hey to K2. Never Lucky Rubby Ducky. Hey, what's going on? Dave. Hey, what's up? I'm glad you got to see me on live. Yeah, this is my first live, so the first time you're going to catch me anyway. Ducky. Yeah. Again, it's my first live, so I'm not really used to doing the on-screen things. That's true. Everyone knows Vic is Batman. That makes that Batman loser. Absolutely. Yeah, Angry Cops. He is amazing. I love watching Angry Cops. I've watched Unsub for years. Those guys are all awesome. I like the fact that HLC, that Ethan finally retired, and he's now on the show a lot more. Exactly. Exactly. Don Lemon was infringing on their First Amendment. He wasn't just utilizing his First Amendment as the press. There he is. Hey, K2. K2 told me in a comment, he asked me, when are you going live? Yeah, Dave, you were here for my first one. Well, you know what? At least you have a pool. Donate to me. I'm the poor. I'm just kidding. Nobody has to do that, please. So to get back to the subject here, so Don Lemon is going to, of course, plead that he was using the First Amendment and that he was going to that he was only going to do his duty as a journalist. However, let me see. And I think that's great that they went and got him. The fact that he was arrested at a hotel, I think, seems even better. They didn't have to go to his house. All they had to do was tell the hotel staff they were there, and the hotel staff pointed straight to him. Night shift is the best time. Granted, I work nights at my real job anyway, so I'll be up. That's why I'm here. I apologize. My dumbass didn't add this to the stage.
Standard procedure with an arrest like this is the defendant will likely make their first court appearance sometime the same day. So there's a chance we may see Don Lemon make his first court appearance in Los Angeles.
That's just embarrassing that I hadn't added to the stage, guys. You can tell it's my first live. Hopefully I don't make that mistake in the future.
Sometime today, but obviously this is going to grab all sorts of headlines. 3 other protesters from that church storming, have already been arrested, including who the feds say was the organizer of that protest. The woman in the middle there is a school board member in St. Paul, and then the mugshot on the right is an online personality / agitator, if you want to call him that. He's known as the Woke Farmer. Those were the 3 people that the feds had already arrested, but we have confirmed that Don Lemon has now been arrested in Los Angeles in connection with that viral incident. We all saw the video of it.
Yeah, we all did. I'm not sure if my face is beautiful, but it is kind of big. I think I got a big face on my head. I'm no Vic. Perfectly proportioned. Or Andrew with that big, wide Joker smile.
That spread and drew widespread condemnation. The feds have been going after these people on FACE Act violations. So this is still breaking news. Once we get more details about the potential charges here, a court appearance, we'll, of course, update our viewers, guys.
You can go to the store at theofficertatum or tatumstore.com.
And now, of course, the FACE Act is, that's good. That's the reason why he was arrested. And that's why he should be arrested. Hey, Emmett. Thank you, sir. My first live. I'm glad you're here for it. I hope I'm not intruding on your space. I know you're normally live at about this time.
Store. All right, y'all, let's get back to the subject at hand.
And it's not that I don't want to run anybody else's ads, but Officer Tatum does have a store. If you guys like him, I definitely suggest that you go check it out. He's got some great product over there. Definitely not getting paid for any ads.
This is a statement from Abe Lowell, I think it is.
Yes.
Attorney for Don Lemon. Roll it.
Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal.
I'm going to skip this part, but I'll read it out real quick. He was taken into custody by federal agents in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammys. He's been a journalist for 30 years, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he's always done. First Amendment exists to protect journalists whose role it is to shine light on the truth and hold those in power accountable. There is no more important time for people like Don to be doing his work. Instead of investigating, of course, they're going to try and deflect to what happened in Minnesota. Instead of investigating the federal agents who killed 2 peaceful protesters in Minnesota, which I'm just not gonna. The Trump Justice Department is devoting its time, attention, and resources to this arrest, and that is the real indictment of wrongdoing in this case. Okay, sure. The fact that he was arrested on the FACE Act is, obviously not indicative of the fact that he did commit a crime. I'm going to go ahead and jump forward just a little bit since they're still talking about
indictment of wrong, transparent, faith, thorough.
Ain't no attorney with a license will say so. Ain't no attorney.
God, yeah. So, and what Tatum just says is that Don Lemon himself must have wrote that, because there's no way a real attorney with an actual license from the bar had written that piece of paper. And I kind of agree with him.
Ain't no attorney with a license will say something stupid like that. If you're fired,
Maybe
well,
Dave,
I
give
hope
me a
you
little
keep
bit.
that attorney. But if you out there have an attorney, and your attorney on a documented.
Thank you, Emmett. I'll definitely try and get it right over to you. I don't see being on here for more than another hour or so, but it just depends on how it goes. Thank you, brother.
On a documented statement says that 2 Minnesota peacefully protested were killed. Peacefully protesting and get killed. Your attorney, who should understand law, says that in a document. Is crazy. It's crazy. You can articulate that you'll be wrong, but you can articulate that they shouldn't have been shot if that's your position. But you can't say they were peacefully protesting. How you protesting your car? How do you protest in a car when you end up hitting a border patrol or ICE agent?
I mean, true. That Renee Good, like, she refused to get out of the car after lawful orders, then she drove off. We all know the situation that happened with that.
How is that? And then we got video of her blocking traffic. What y'all talking about? And then another guy, after his third arrest, with being physically violent with border patrol agents, he ended up fighting them, committing a felony crime with a gun. And your attorney, Don Lemon's attorney, says, peaceful protesters. She also told him he wasn't going to get arrested. He probably need to switch it up. All right, looks like we have a new clip of Don's husband waiting outside of the courtroom, looking like a stooge. Dude, nothing against gay people. But why you got to be weird, though? Why can't a gay dude be like a normal dude? That's what always...
I saw that just cracked me up. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't, at this point in the video, it doesn't really look like he's, you know what he means, standing around looking like that. I mean, that's fair, Dave. He was one of the ones, even before I started thinking about going live, I made him a mod on my channel. And that was, I think, 3 or 4 months ago. So that's why he already has mod. Oh, I reread that. Emma didn't try and post a link. You did. Okay. I got that. Sorry. But yeah, for the video, I mean, you know how people of that persuasion stand around sometimes. He's kind of standing, there, just looking kind of normal. But at the same time, I do find it funny that there are cameras there waiting, just waiting for the moment that his husband comes out of the courtroom.
Gets to me.
I mean, otherwise, why are they there? I mean, really, this is just a photo op moment.
Like, what is being gay? Why do you gotta be different? Like your mannerisms even weird. He's staying like he gay. If I was looking at this guy, I'd be like, man, that dude gay. Why are you staying gay? I don't get it. Like, I mean, maybe I'm tripping. How you born? Are you born like this? Okay, roll the clip.
Husband.
Okay, now that's kind of gay. The way that he's standing now, that's kind of frou-frou. Not gonna lie.
I couldn't look my family in the face, and I'm out here like this dude.
I agree with him.
Waiting on another man to come out the door to hug me. I can't. Come on, somebody play the clip. Is that it? Oh, that is him just sitting out there looking stupid. I don't know. It just, him and Don Lemon specifically just bothers me. All right, we got another clip because, of course, Brian Stelter, which I thought.
There we go. CNN's Brian Stelter was forced to admit Don Lemon knew of plans to storm church beforehand while desperately trying to defend him.
Oh,
him.
I didn't think he existed anymore. I guess he's bald headed.
I'm actually kind of surprised that Brian Stelter was able to keep his job after the whole Zoom debacle a couple years ago. I thought that was very interesting.
It's still on TV. Come on, roll that clip.
Has said all along that he was there not as an activist, but as a journalist. In fact, he was saying those words and repeating that out loud when he was inside the church.
I mean, just because you say you're a journalist doesn't necessarily mean you are. Somebody could all... one of the greatest examples is, I think it was also mentioned yesterday on Abe's channel, for anybody who was watching, was you could say you're in a loving relationship, but you still beat your spouse. Or, your spouse gets beat by you, and you can still say that they love you. You can still say you're a journalist, and you're still not doing journalist things.
But he clearly knew something was taking place that day with the protesters. He told his viewers on YouTube to stay tuned because there was something about to happen. He was careful not to have his camera crew walk into the church until there was a disruption. And I would urge...
Yep, see? That's proof right there. Prior knowledge. He knew it was going to go down.
Urge people to go online, actually watch the YouTube video, see how it all went down. I think Lemon's reporting from inside the church was very valuable. As a viewer, I learned a lot about how it happened, how it all went down. He interviewed some of the protesters in real time, yes. He also interviewed some of the worshipers, and I thought their comments were really insightful about what they went through, about how troubled, how scared they were by the disruption. At the same time, like I said, you learned a lot from the protesters about...
And next time you're going live, put it in self-promotion in Abe's chat. Going live, putting this up. Oh, okay. I got you. Thank you, K2.
Why they decided to show up there, believing that one of the pastors at the church also worked for ICE. So this video on YouTube, this is...
Yeah, but what does that matter if one of the pastors also worked for ICE? I mean, if it's previously or not. The point is that if you wanted to interview the protesters, you should have interviewed them while they were outside, before they broke in and did all this stuff. Because once you were inside with them, you were committing a crime right alongside them. I mean, that's like trying to go to a violent riot and interview them while they're throwing bricks at cops. Sir, why are you throwing these bricks at the cops? Like, are you stupid? First off, you could get hurt as a journalist, and you don't want to do that because then you'll be unable to do your work. But, also because you were literally right there in the action, and you could get hurt not only from the protesters, but from the cops because you are right there. And second off, that's just stupid to begin with. And not just for the danger, but for the fact that you're there in the middle of it when you shouldn't be. No peaceful person should be in the middle of dangerous actions. Wartime journalists, notwithstanding, they understand the risks. They are generally supposed to be prepared for that. That's about the only exception I can think of as far as that goes. And even then, I don't think wartime journalists carry weapons. I could be wrong. The only weapons I think they do have would be to specifically defend themselves. That's the reason why they have journalists across, their chest and back while they're in that kind of zone. They're not supposed to be targeted, but who cares about those rules most of the time, right?
The real focal point. This video, it of course happened on a Sunday morning. This video was then streaming for everyone to see. And by Monday, the day after that incident, there was a lot of online outrage on the right. Many calls from MAGA loyalists to have Lemon arrested. I think an important part of the story here is the amount of pressure the Justice Department, Pam Bondi, and others have been under from the right to arrest Lemon, to take action like this. And as you said, the initial attempt to do so failed in Minnesota. Now we're seeing another attempt to do so.
But it's not just the fact that people were calling for it to happen. It should have happened regardless, just because of his actions. So he's just trying to use pressure from the right as an excuse of the reason why he was arrested. But you could just turn that around and say the pressure from the left is the reason why some right people were arrested as well. Like, his argument's stupid.
It's not that there was pressure on the right. Don Lemon created pressure on himself because he went out there and recorded a crime.
See?
He recorded premeditation of working with their staff or whatever these activists were to go into a church and commit a crime. He knew they were going to do it and he participated in it. He was standing around talking to people. He participated in the entire event. Let me tell y'all something. This is journalism. If somebody goes into a church and commits a crime, as a journalist, you stand outside of the church. And if you can get a view into the church, you can peer into the church. When parishioners come out, you can interview them. You cannot go and insert yourself in a criminal act and then act like a journalist.
Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier. If he wanted to interview the protesters, he should have done it outside. If he wanted to protest the parishioners, he should have waited until either they came outside or the rioters were, or protesters, either way, were already gone and then interviewed them afterwards. How did you feel during the event? What was going on from your perspective? Things like that.
I just don't understand what, that's like saying this. Let me give you an example. That's like saying if Allah Akbar is standing outside of a building and say, I'm finna go in there and throw acid on people because they Christians. And the reporter is standing out there with him and going, I know something's gonna happen and you just stay tuned. We go.
Yeah, and if there's going to be a crime in progress, it's not like the journalist doesn't have the obligation to report that crime going to be in progress. I'm a journalist. I'm completely objective. Well, you know there's a crime going to be in progress. Why wouldn't you report it? That just sounds like you were waiting for the crime to happen so you could cover it, which now makes you complicit to the crime, which is exactly what Don Lemon's situation now is. So even if he hadn't actually trespassed, gone inside and done what he did, he still had prior knowledge. Therefore, he's still now complicit in the crime.
He already told you he's going to commit a crime, and you know he's going to commit a crime, and you're participating in covering his crimes. And then the guy goes into there and he throws acid on people, and you go up to the person with the acid on their face and go, how does it feel? No, but you are a Christian, and Christians don't like Muslims, right? And the person has been violated and a crime has been committed against them, and you're interrogating them. How does that make you a journalist? And then, let me say this, the guy with the acid on his face at a private bar is like, please leave the bar. And the journalist...
Yeah, I think that's a very apt analogy. Granted, yeah, it was acids that actually causes harm rather than, or physical harm rather than the emotional, psychological harm for the rioters coming in and yelling and screaming and disturbing, which is really what they were doing. I haven't heard any reports about any physical altercations happening. That's just me. It's definitely possible that it did happen. It was a very high tension time, but the analogy is still pretty apt.
Just say you, and he stays and he interviews more people who have been victimized. That's not journalism, bro. You are participating in it. All right, Harmeet Dillon has got something to say, and she's also an attorney, wrote a clip.
When I first saw the video that Don Lemon himself put out about his conduct that day, it was clear to me that we had the predicates for pursuing FACE Act and conspiracy. We did our homework, sent process.
For the FACE Act, remember a few years ago that lady got put in jail for violating the FACE Act when she was across the street praying in front of an abortion center? So if she can get arrested for violating the FACE Act for that, fairly certain that Don Lemon and all the other protesters that were there can be arrested for violating the FACE Act for physically entering the church and violating everybody else's right to worship. And that's the First Amendment.
Prosecutors there to the ground, took affidavits, took evidence. They buttressed the case that we could witness from Lemon's own testimony and statements and admissions against interest in his own videos. And we have aggressively and very rapidly sought legal process. We're going to pursue this to the ends of the earth.
I think that's the right approach. Let's get to the next one. Pam Bundy has something to say.
Now, I know a lot of people don't like Pam Bondi at the moment. I'm I've definitely got my doubts about her as well. But this is a pretty decent, I don't want to say speech. This is a pretty decent mini speech that she makes here.
Make no mistake, under President Trump's leadership and this administration, you have the right to worship freely and safely. And if I haven't been clear already, if you violate that sacred right, we are coming after you.
Thank you, Pam Bundy. Now let's go to another.
I think you said Pam Bundy.
Another guy who claims to be a lawyer. And this is what he had to say from TMZ. Roll it.
So the Trump administration wonders why people are saying that they are trying to form a dictatorship. Well, look at the landscape. Arresting Don Lemon, who covered a protest in Minneapolis, is just insane.
Time out. I'm gonna let him finish. But like, he was a part of it. The whole scheme of everything the whole scheme of everything they did were to expose the pastor. He was a part of the exposing of the pastor, and he put it online. It's like they did the crime and he covered it for them. He gave them publicity. He gave them coverage. That's like if I was going to go down to somebody's house and I say, man, I'm going to kick this dude door in and I'm going to beat everybody up in the house. And I got a guy behind me that's a cameraman that's like, all right, bro, I'll put it on YouTube. Okay? I go and beat people up, and he go in there and cover it on YouTube and put it out. Bro, we both going to jail.
Yeah, because the guy recording it is complicit. Because, again, he had prior knowledge of the crime. It's a pretty good analogy. I'd say it's more like, because Don Lemon, like he said, Don Lemon's, the reason why he put it on there was to expose the pastor himself as being former ICE. Excuse me, as being former ICE. And so that's the reason why that one segment that he made sure to put it up. But that doesn't really expose anything. It just exposes the fact that Don Lemon committed a crime.
You guys have literally so past hated, pre-ordered today. Let me let him finish it. Go.
Ridiculous, dictator-like. This is the play.
This guy is, I'm not sure why he's supposedly a lawyer, because it's not dictator-like when you're simply following the laws. He violated the FACE Act. Arrest him for violating the FACE Act. Dictators don't follow the laws. They make their own.
Playbook that dictators use to destroy democracies and take the will of the people away. It is as simple as that. The First Amendment is the First Amendment for a reason. It is considered the preferred amendment when you have to start balancing what's more important. The framers of the Constitution knew that a free press was essential to a democracy. Without
All right, that's so stupid. I mean, yeah, he's correct, but his framing of the First Amendment is completely wrong. The point of the First Amendment to protect the freedom of the press is so that the press cannot be suppressed by the federal government. That's all. You're not suppressing the press by arresting a member of the press who broke laws. That's all. It's as simple as that. And I don't understand why this man is being all up in arms on him getting arrested by violating a law. It'd be like saying I'm a member of the press and I went and stabbed somebody. Well, I'm a member of the press, so you can't, this is suppression. I can't believe this. This is violating the First Amendment.
a free press, you don't have a democracy. And it's real clear that Donald Trump and company doesn't want a free press. The idea that a journalist, which Don Lemon has been for 30 years, would walk into a church and film a demonstration which is of national interest, and then to say somehow, when you watch the video, they say he's part of the protest. Watch that video. He is covering the protest. He is covering it. That's what journalists do. I covered riot.
If he had walked into the church and was just covering the protest, then he would have been at the back or on the sides of the protest, simply getting shots and commenting on it. Why would you interview the protesters and interview the parishioners in real time about what was going on and their feelings if you were simply covering it and what was happening? Again, I go back to my example of a violent riot where people are rioting and facing off physically against police, maybe throwing bricks at them. Why would you interview the people that are on the front lines? It's not quite analogous, but it's close enough. Like, why would you do that? You've become a part of it rather than being objective and placing yourself on the outside of it. You would interview the people before or after to figure out, to get points of view.
No, bro. He is a part of the protest. He is giving them exposure on his channel into the world. That's like me. I'm Brandon Tatum. I got all my followers. I got a big platform. If somebody was like, I'm going to go to a city council meeting and expose these people, I got a platform. So I go and give them a platform by covering them exposing somebody. That's me participating, bruh. And then let's be clear about private property and religious freedom. You cannot go on somebody's private property to interview them without consent. I don't understand what we're talking about. If the police, show me anybody in journalism that after the police force entry into your house and arrest people, that the media gets to come into your house while you're on the couch in handcuffs like this, and they get to put a microphone in front of your face and talk to you about it. Show me where that happened at. Show me. I don't know of any situation where a reporter is allowed to go in during the commission of a crime to interview the victim.
Exactly. It blows my mind that Don Lemon thinks that he could do this and still get away with it by claiming First Amendment rights.
Quit acting like that's real. He got caught, bro. That's just what it is. Now, let's bring some more. Let's give you another example. On January 6th, remember on January 6th, when people were just going in to cover the insurrection, people were just on their cameras going in to be journalists, observing the insurrection at the Capitol. They all went to jail.
Yep.
They did not consider that journalism, did they?
And that's true. And a lot of them were held for months to, I think it was up to a year, 18 months before they finally had their court date to be seen. But yeah, Tatum's absolutely right here. They didn't call that journalism. It wasn't covering the events. No, it was you were part of the insurrection, going to jail. Or at least being charged.
So January 6th, no matter what your coverage is, you're not a journalist, you go to jail. This fool went into a church and he's now a journalist. All right.
So, yeah, gotta go ahead and stop that there. Yeah, so there's Don Lemon. Yeah, last thing I heard about that, he's definitely going to be going to jail. I know there's an update on that. I just hadn't been able to find it. The next lib that I want to bring up is going to be, everybody remembers her, the woman who had the TikTok, she called it essay, where she delivered a Wendy's order, I believe, through DoorDash, and claimed she was essayed because the person she was delivering to had left the door open and he had his pants down. And most of the evidence suggests, including the Ring doorbell, that she had actually opened the door.
So this girl,
and this is from Asmongold's clips.
This is the DoorDash girl that recorded a dude that was naked in his own house and then said that she was sexually assaulted, and her entire life basically has become it's gotten completely destroyed. Like, she's now had a bunch of, like, now she's facing 2 felonies And it's only going to get worse.
Things just got so much worse for the TikTok DoorDash girl because this is becoming a nightmare for her. And if you don't know about the situation, it is insane. So here's a quick rundown. So on October 12th, 2025, a DoorDash driver by the name of Olivia Henderson got an order in Oswego, New York.
Yeah.
This was apparently a late night Wendy's order. And from what we know, all she had to do was leave the food at the door, take a picture.
That fat guy, what do you think the probability is that he ordered Wendy's chili? Like,
if you were drunk and it's late, probably Wendy's chili. I agree with that, Gold. I hadn't thought about it until I saw this video, but I agree. It was probably Wendy's chili. Chili, maybe some nuggets. But yeah, and the gentleman in the video, his assessment is correct. All she had to do was drop the food on the doorstep, take the video, and leave, because he had selected leave at door. But no, she decided not to.
I would say it's probably around 98%. Like 98% probability that he ordered chili. Yeah.
The food and continue on with her night.
Oh,
Instead, she allegedly made a series of awful decisions. The police and prosecution, they're alleging that she pushed the door open and decided to film a drunk dude who was passed out on his...
Yeah, and then there was this. She let herself into, but she claimed that she was lured inside. Even if the door was cracked open, that's still not an invitation for you to come inside. It's still not, the door is cracked open. Maybe he wants me inside. Drop the food on the doorstep, take your picture, and leave. Like, why would you expect for the door, just even if it was cracked open, even if it was this much, for that to be some kind of invitation or for some kind of lure? That blows my mind. It doesn't make any sense.
Couch with his pants down. So my first...
And that's only one of the charges. There's 2 felony charges that she's facing.
Story, I reported that she walked into the house because that's what currently was going viral on TikTok.
I'm going to speed this one up.
From what I know, is wrong. So I have to issue a massive retraction and correction to that statement. All the, at least credible sources, are claiming that she never walked into that house. She was only standing in the doorway.
The only thing that's debated is whether she tried to open the door additionally, and whether she cut the video of her doing that with the door being more shut.
Well, that's true, Dave. But yeah, she was lucky enough that the gentleman was passed out. So that might have been one of the things that saved her. Of course, it's probably also the only thing that she felt would lend legitimacy to the fact that she was essayed, was the fact that he was passed out. So she was able to take advantage of that.
Before she recorded the original version, that was the thing that was mainly discussed.
Still, either way, filming and posting what she saw after she allegedly either opened the door or pushed open the door is still incredibly stupid. So if what the prosecution is alleging is true, she seemingly went onto TikTok and tried to destroy an innocent man's life for passing out within his own house with his pants down. Now, obviously, we're not going to show the original video. I can't even find the original video. All I can find is a screenshot. But
now, I also, after watching this part of the video, looked it up, tried to find the original video, both on TikTok and on YouTube. I haven't been able to find it. There are pieces of it in other people's videos, but not the whole thing. So I find that to be very interesting.
Even if I could find the original video, I wouldn't be showing that here on this channel for obvious reasons. Because there's a massive private...
And same here, because yeah, he's right. There's a massive privacy violation involved.
Privacy issue there. But this is her follow-up video to the original video.
So on
crash out. Total fucking crash out. I love to see this.
2025, the DoorDash customer requested that their order be left at their front door. And when I arrived at their front door was wide open. The lights were on. They were sleeping on the couch within eyesight of the front door with their pants and underwear pulled down to their ankles, and they were indecently
not true.
To me.
Real quick. I want to read that. RE, what happened to me while I was doing my job door dashing? I'm being punished as a victim by all sectors involved right now. The police, DoorDash, and TikTok are all punishing me, a victim. Now, her claim was that the door was wide open, fairly certain that wide open could be construed as being at least halfway open. But if that was true, then she would have been able to see inside immediately, in which case, why would you have done anything besides put it down, take the picture, and leave? I wouldn't want to approach anybody's door if it's wide open, other than to drop it as far away as I possibly can, take the picture, and go. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Dave. Terrible person. But I mean, as a DoorDasher, that's a very similar role to, delivering pizzas. And terrible things happen to people who deliver pizzas. It's part of the reason why I wouldn't want that job. It can get dangerous. Why would I want to approach somebody's door that's open when I'm supposed to be dropping it off? I would simply drop it as far away as I could, take the picture, go back to my car, submit the picture that it's been delivered, and leave. Instead, she did what she did. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Wide open. The lights were on. They were sleeping on the couch within eyesight of the front door with their pants and underwear pulled down to their ankles, and they were indecently
Not true.
to me.
Okay, so she says the door was wide open, and the police and prosecutors say
That's not true.
otherwise.
Yeah.
And the reason they're saying this is because there's allegedly
Because there's a video. It wasn't even wide open in the video.
Ring doorbell footage of her either opening or pushing the door open. Now, the only problem is, to my knowledge, that footage has not been released to the public. I was actually hoping to see that footage today in court, but court had different plans for us today.
Because I also reported this to the police, and the police are doing nothing. I was assaulted. I'm the victim.
You were assaulted? What do you mean? He's asleep.
Lost my job.
And Asmongold, of all people, makes the great point here. The man was asleep. How did he assault you? I mean, you looked upon a scene that you shouldn't have been there for to begin with. Your job stopped right before the door to begin with. You should have even been looking inside the house. That's actually part of an invasion of privacy, looking inside a house.
I'm the victim. I was working.
The victim. Oh, God. You're not the victim enough.
I was literally working, and they deactivated me. This is related. They just punished me for posting about my faults while door dashing.
Man, I love this, don't you? This is amazing.
They just fired
beautiful.
me, and the police are doing nothing.
God.
Okay, so that's her
I have to be a victim. I have to be a victim. I have to be a victim. It's exactly what this lady's whole attitude is.
side, and the prosecution
Well,
is
now they're doing something. Now you're going to go to prison, maybe.
basically saying something around the lines of this happening.
Sir, I have your DoorDash. Oh, ew, I'm a victim.
Now, obviously, that video
And that skit is great because it's basically what happened. Obviously, nuances there. She supposedly put the food down at the door, and a couple other things happened. But it's in a nutshell. That's pretty much what happened. She got there, either opened the door or opened it wider if it was already open, and events just.
Exaggerates things for humor, and again,
only a little bit.
Correction, she didn't go into the house for what we know. But this was her final response before the trial.
Hi guys, it's the DoorDash girl. There have been a lot of people saying things like I entered the customer's home or I opened the customer's door, but I can assure you that I did not do either of those things. And I have obtained irrefutable proof that the door was already wide open when
and what's
I
the proof?
to the customer's house.
What's
but due to its importance, I cannot post that proof at this time.
Okay, so we have
so we don't know. Okay.
Two sides saying two different things. The only thing everyone can agree on is that the homeowner was laying passed out inside of his own home with his pants down. Then she had her arraignment, which was actually televised. And she asked to ban cameras, but the judge reportedly responded, so now you don't want cameras involved. So I wouldn't.
Exactly. So she asks to ban cameras, which is her only proof that she did no wrongdoing, according to her own words. And yet now she wants them banned. Seems pretty fishy to me. Just people don't want their own themselves accountable.
Say that was absolutely fucking base, Judge. They recorded this. She didn't want cameras. Man. Oh, now you don't want them. Oh, okay.
It was a strong start for her, but that was her arraignment. This is how her first hearing went. And as we found out, it didn't go as expected, and it doesn't seem like she's just going to get a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
Back at the air.
Yep. That's exactly it, Dave. The dumb girl that gets killed in horror movies just 12 times after going to investigate the scary sound while running up the stairs of a 2-story house. Yep.
Report again, because today we're heading to the
Did you ever see House of Wax? I only watched that because I heard that Paris Hilton got killed in it, and it was hilarious. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It was actually not a bad horror movie, but it was pretty funny when Paris Hilton got killed.
TikTok DoorDash girls trial, which is tomorrow. So we're going to Syracuse, New York now.
Let me amend that. When her character got killed.
Definitely wanted to attend this trial because there's been so many details about this case that have been extremely unclear. So might as well go show up and get them clarified.
Yeah, this is the smallest airplane I've ever been on.
Oh, is it? Is it that big? Oh, no. Oh, wow.
Welcome to Syracuse, where local time is 2:03 p.m.
All right, so I'm in Syracuse, New York.
Then I got snow everywhere. What the
All right, man. I don't know who this guy is, but that's dedication. He flew from Miami all the way just to see her arraignment. Exactly what I'm talking about, running away from the one exit. Yep, exactly.
Miami. Why get an influencer break the law somewhere tropical? Miami was great.
Oh my God.
This is rough. Tomorrow morning, I'm driving the last like 25 minutes or so to get to Oswego. And apparently Oswego is known for being even colder than this spot. So that's awesome.
Good morning. We're getting ready here. It's like 7:50 in the morning here. The trial starts at 7:30. I'll probably try to get there like half an hour early so we have way more time than anticipated. But yeah, for now, coffee, a little bowl of cereal. It's time to wake all up and we'll be good. There's a few things that are probably going to happen today. Or actually, I say that, but in reality, I don't know what's going to happen because there's always surprises when you go to trial. She currently has a public defender and she's charged with 2 counts. She has 1 count of this.
2 felony counts and you've got a public defender? Oh.
This lady is screwed. But yeah, well, like I said, this man has dedication. He flew quite literally halfway or most of the way around the country in order to get to this, just to see it live.
Oh, bitch, you're cooked. It's over.
Yeah. She has 1 count of this. Okay, so she has 1 count of dissemination of unlawful surveillance image. She also has 1 count of unlawful surveillance. Both of these, she's pled not guilty to. As stated, she's currently being represented by a public defender. From talking to the practicing lawyers I know, it seems like it's very likely that a plea deal will happen today. Who knows? That's why we're going to go see. The big thing is for her.
All right, so real quick. You said that it's likely a plea deal will happen. It's not what happens. It actually gets even better, just in case anybody hasn't seen this yet. Oh, it gets better.
She filmed the guy. That's why she's charged. You have a whole bunch of arguments about like, okay, did she open the door? Was the door already kind of opened? How was the door when she found it? There's now alleged ring camera footage showing that she either opened the door or pushed the door open before she started filming. That's
what I thought. Yeah, because again, for them to act on this or charge her, I thought that was a good reason for it.
But even if she didn't have to open the door, the fact is that she did make the video. So even if the door was wide open, the fact is that she did still film, and therefore the unlawful surveillance and disseminating the unlawful surveillance would still apply. I just wanted to point that out. The fact is that she videoed somebody else in their own home is the unlawful surveillance part, and then she posted it, which is distributing the unlawful surveillance. And then opening the door, if it could prove that she opened the door itself, that's that might be considered breaking and entering, because you could state that if she opened the door, her hand is going to have to pass the threshold, and therefore she has now entered the house. But that's going to depend on legal precedent and what it means to actually enter the home. So I don't know.
The really damning evidence. So we have the police alleging that she opened the door and started filming, and then we have DoorDash essentially banning her from the platform.
Excuse me, not breaking and entering. I meant unlawful entry.
Because she filmed the customer. But she's claiming that she's the victim in all of this, which is why, you know, all of her TikTok started in general. So we'll be interested to see how her defense argues for her in court.
If I was going to be making any predictions on what's going to happen is, I guess, plea deal. I think they're going to be very lenient on her. She didn't even have to bail out, so she was released on her own recognizance, meaning she didn't have to pay bail. It's basically an honor system. So, hey, you can go. You don't have to give us anything. We just trust that you're going to show up to court. So I have a feeling that her sentence is going to be, or her plea is going to be very lenient. Most likely, she'll be getting like.
I've actually seen and heard a public defender go up to a prosecutor and say, hey, let this guy off, and you could throw the book at this one. They're dirty. Yeah. I could see that. Public defenders are, what's the word here? I don't really want to say dirty. They're a lot more, God, I want to say discerning either, but they pick their battles. But it's a lot more scrutinizing, and if they don't think it's going to be worth it, they kind of just give up sometimes. I have seen some that will fight tooth and nail, but they're not very few and far between, or they are very few and far between as far as the ones that are really like gung-ho about making sure that justice is served, because they're going to get paid either way. So I can kind of agree with that.
Some community service, maybe a fine. That's what I'm expecting here, but we'll see.
All right, welcome to Oswego,
Here we
New
go.
York.
And it gets better.
It's really cold, huh?
Town.
Bert, wait, that's a bald eagle.
I'm just got out of court. I'm now going to find a little location where I can do a quick live stream for you guys.
Wow, look at that building. That's beautiful. I think that's the town hall. This is the city courthouse.
This
is probably the spot. Hopefully we could find some shelter from the wind, though. I feel like my arch nemesis at this point is the wind. Yeah, this is perfect down here. You just got out of the court case for the TikTok DoorDash girl. Something big did happen, but it took a while for anything to happen at all. So I got here at the court at about 9:21. She was on trial at 9:30. This time it was a little bit different because last time we know that we had footage of inside of the courtroom because the news was there. So the news, they were set up, they were filming her. I walk in, there's no TV camera set up. I don't even see any journalists. And basically, I was there until the end. I can confirm there was no journalist there. So
nobody cared.
That was there, which is kind of interesting.
That's funny.
Other updates to this case. She still has a public defender. She has 2 charges. At 9:30, judge walks in, everyone stands up, sits down, the whole thing.
Yeah, I do find it funny that there were no journalists there except for this guy, and yet there were for the first one. So that's an interesting commentary. It seems like everybody's just forgotten about it. It doesn't matter anymore. Move on to the next thing.
And I don't see the DoorDash girl. I think it was just because I didn't see her, because she was sitting in there. And at that time, I was sitting kind of in the back right of the courtroom. And this courtroom is set up in not the best fashion, because there's a column blocking the judge and the audio isn't really good. And it didn't seem like they had the microphone speakers on the back. So I couldn't hear what was going on. So I had to move around. Eventually, after they went through a couple of the defendants, I got up and I moved. And that's when I could actually see the judge, so I can at least read what his lips were saying, because the audio was still bad. And I think I sat down kind of behind the DoorDash girl at that point. And that's when I spotted her. Going through my notes real quick. One second. Oh, no.
Almost lost it.
All right. My hands are frozen. Why did I not bring gloves? As a Norwegian, I should have known better. So 10 o'clock rolls around, and I see who I think is the DoorDash girl's public defender. 10:25 rolls around. Nothing yet. Okay. So at this point, I've been here for a minute. 10:50 rolls around. Woman who looks like the DoorDash girl, who I think was, she gets up after talking to her public defender and leaves. And I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on now? Is this like another Jack Doherty situation where there's some continuation? Do I have to show up tomorrow? I don't know. I wait around even further. Then we have probably another 40 minutes of waiting. They go through the last people. The judge then is waiting for one of the defendants to show up. So we get through them, and suddenly it's just me in court in the courtroom. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going up on the stand. So that must mean it's over. I go out to the clerk. I talk to them, and I'm thinking, okay, there's a continuation that happened. Instead, I found out this was divested to county court. So
this went from municipal court now to a county court. That means it's going up.
Originally, where we're at, this building right here, this is the city court.
Wait, what?
City court, I mean, this is kind of like small fines, but hers was divested to county court. So as I said, originally she was in city court.
Is that
now,
worse?
County court, that's the main state court. So that means most likely she's facing way more serious charges. Or, well, not way more serious charges. The charges are still the same, but most likely.
Man, that's bad.
They could penalize her a lot
because it's
harder.
a felony.
So according to the lawyer that I've been talking to, that's the prosecutor that moved it there, most likely because of all the public attention on the case and the public outcry. So that means that most likely she won't get a slap on the wrist. So currently she is facing 8 years in prison. That's her max sentence, because it's
oh my god.
Yeah, he'll break it down in a moment, but I believe it's a max of 4 years for each one. Most public pretenders are doing a short time until they can get on at the prosecutor's office here in Arizona. You have to do however many hours of court before you can apply a job as a prosecutor. Oh, okay. That makes sense. I didn't know that. It's probably the same in a lot of other states. I don't know what it's like in my state. That's something I'd need to look up, actually.
Bro, if that happens, holy shit.
A 4-year max sentence for each of the felonies, and her minimum sentence seems to be a couple years of probation, and that is if she's convicted 100%.
Couple of years?
It seems like she was moved to Superior Court, so that's actually even worse for her. So that's what we have right now. She's currently facing 8 years in prison. That's the worst case. She's not going to get that, but her minimum is at least a couple years on probation. Either way, she shouldn't have done this. This is like a
shouldn't have done it. Yep, shouldn't have done it. Big fucking mistake.
Big self-inflicted thing that didn't need to happen. I don't know.
Exactly. It's a self-inflicted thing that did not need to happen. And she did it to herself. All she had to do, once again, drop the food, take the picture, leave. The man probably would have woken up in a couple hours, realized his food was there, gone, heated it up, and eaten it. That's all that had to happen. Instead, she had to make it about her, and it completely flipped on her head. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and move on to an update, kind of, on the Alex Purdy situation. I found this one earlier. The only reason why I'm showing this I know that's how it is in California, Arizona, Texas, and New Mexico, but that's the extent of my knowledge. Well, hey, I mean, that's 4 states that you know about, and I don't even know about my own, so doing better than me on that front. The only reason why I'm bringing this up as far as Alex Purdy goes is the fact that I saw this one today. This is from yesterday. This is a day ago. So that would be on the 3rd. And I'm trying to cover with this segment. It should be every Tuesday. I'm going to cover everything from, since it's so late, it'll be from that Tuesday to the last Tuesday. So this counts. Now, the reason why I'm covering this, however, is because of this. It has officially been ruled by a homicide. Now, us smart people know what a homicide is. A homicide is when one human being unalives another human being. However, that's not how the libs are going to see it. They're going to see homicide and go, see, it was murder. Schmurder. Because they're stupid. Right here. Alex Purdy died from multiple gunshot wounds, according to the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's report. Oh, look, his real picture, not the AI enhanced one that the mainstream media was peddling around. From Hennepin County, Minnesota, Alex Purdy's death has been officially ruled as a homicide by Hennepin County Medical Examiner. The office announced Monday, February 2nd. The 37-year-old Minneapolis man was fatally shot by federal agents January 24th during an immigration enforcement operation. At least this website states that it was during an immigration enforcement operation instead of just saying it was illegally and during a peaceful protest. So I don't know this website. Meow, I think is how that's pronounced. But you know what? At least they said the truth. The ruling comes 9 days after the shoot. Wait, what ruling? I mean, it's just stating a fact. Whatever. It comes 9 days after the shooting and follows a similar determination in the death of Renee Nicole Good, who was also fatally shot by ICE on January 7th. What did the medical report say? Hennepin County Medical Examiner said Alex Purdy died from multiple gunshot wounds and died on the same day he was shot, January 24th. It does not give many details about the autopsy or explain its findings. A homicide means a person was killed by, unalived by another person and does not automatically mean a crime was committed. This is the part that the libs are just going to forget about. Does not automatically mean a crime was committed. They're still going to say that because it was a homicide, it automatically means it was murder. Schmurder. It's just... and then the other reason why I saw this earlier is that, in case anybody didn't catch it, Kristi Noem has announced that the Minneapolis ICE agents will wear body cameras. And of course, that comes in the wake of the two major events that have happened so far. She just spoke with Real Tom Homan and ICE Director, CBP Commissioner. Effectively, immediately, we are deploying body cameras to every officer in the field. And that's good, because that'll catch these people's stupidity firsthand. As funding is available, the body camera program will be expanded nationwide. We will rapidly acquire and deploy, and then it goes on. I'm not going to click that because it'll take me to X. I don't want to go there yet. So after federal agents fatally shot Alex Purdy, some Trump administration officials initially said he threatened officers and brandished a weapon. However, multiple bystander videos show Purdy holding a cell phone and recording the scene when agents pushed him and sprayed him with a chemical irritant before attacking him to the ground, and no footage shows him pointing a gun at officers before he was shot. Excuse me. Yeah, because critics have pushed for greater accountability. So yeah, that's the main reason why, because of everything going on. So, of course, Kristi Noem has said, yeah, okay, sure. Effective immediately with deploying body cameras. So yeah, what everybody's takes are on this so far. It's going to be a very interesting ride over the next week, the next month. The one last thing that I want to get to is going to be everybody's favorite Muslim representative. Whoop. Sorry, playing something there by accident. Everybody should have also already heard about the attack, quote unquote, on Ilhan Omar. Now, this should replay it. Let's see. Go over here real quick.
town hall, which, by the way, she has monthly. We are in North.
So the man attacks her with a syringe. Okay, it's a syringe.
We're in.
And he just gets her right over here. Does she look surprised? It doesn't look that way to me.
North Minneapolis, she had.
The look on her face isn't scared. It's mildly annoyed. So a lot of people have claimed that it was staged, and I can kind of agree, especially the reports that poison control told her to get to a safe room, take off those clothes, wash herself. That way, if there's any chemical irritant, excuse me, if there's any chemical irritant, then she would be safe. She didn't bother. She just went right back to her speech. The only reason you would do that is if you know for a fact it was harmless. I believe it ended up being apple cider vinegar.
Political commentator and Republican pollster, and Antoine Seawright, Democratic strategist. Antoine, can I actually start with you? I don't know if you heard in your group chats or people in Democratic circles started talking about this last night.
Well, I did. America's not like this because Donald Trump is the president. Donald Trump is the president because America's like this. And believe.
And he does have a point there. Donald Trump was elected for a reason. And it was because America's gone downhill politically. But it's not because of the right. It's because of the left. She's also an idiot. Well, we have shared opinions on Ilhan Omar. Absolutely.
Or not, there's some sick, deranged people out there who are celebrating online when members of Congress are attacked, when they're threatened.
And then the fact that she walks towards this man with her fist raised like she's got to punch him. Like, lady, he's got 100 pounds on you. And he was walking away from you. He sprayed her and then immediately backed up like she was some kind of threat to him. It doesn't make any sense to me. That whole thing looks so fake.
Particularly visible figures like Ilhan Omar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and others. And I think that we as Americans have to step back, but I also think leaders starting at the presidency level should always condemn these type things because it cannot be good for them and not good for me. When the president was under attack, Americans came together to condemn it. And so the president has to tone down the rhetoric because we've seen January 6th is a direct result. When his language goes out, people respond to it.
Yes, although I think the argument was the attack on him and Butler was the result of rhetoric against him, how people had talked about him. Hold on, I want to play for you something because Trump.
Yeah, that's true. The attacks on him were, of course, about rhetoric. Charlie Kirk's was about rhetoric. They just didn't like what he was saying. It hurt them inside, basically. Grow up. That's not the kind of thing we're supposed to do here. If you don't like somebody who's in office, then vote them out the next time. Do what you can politically to get rid of them, not violence. Reminds me of that old meme of the old man raising his fist saying, "Why I oughta." Or was it this one? "Why I oughta."
Trump has, of course, dismissed the attack on Omar. She's a longtime sort of, villain, social media villain on the right. Here is what he had to say yesterday, and then I'm also going to take you back to 2019.
Well, she's a social media villain on the right because she says stupid anti-American things. Of course she's a social media villain on the right. It's not quite the same as Trump being a social media villain to the left, because Trump is pro-America. He says things that the left doesn't like, but is also pro-America. Whereas Ilhan Omar doesn't say things that the right doesn't like, but she's actively anti-American. So they're not quite equivalent.
They have to show that they can love our country. They have to be proud. Not like Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage.
Omar has a history of launching vicious anti-Semitic screeds.
So what they're trying to do here is equivocate the things that Trump has said to the things that left Democrats have said, and saying that these words are equivalent in their rhetorical violence, but it's just not true. Yeah, Trump is bad-mouthing Ilhan Omar, But what he said is exactly true. You can't equivalent. You can't they are not equivalent, because Ilhan Omar has said things that are anti-American, and then you have what is her name? Maxine Waters has specifically said and called for violence against Republicans and people who support Donald Trump. They're not the same, not on any level.
I feel like usually on a panel, there's someone who says, people love Trump for his punchy language. And are people, I think, is the public starting maybe a bit to sour as they see attack after attack and these sort of incidents on lawmakers?
I mean, I think in some ways it's a numbness rather than a cheering for it or a souring on it. It's just a, like, this is just like the toxic soup in which we live now. I think it's horrible. I'm glad that some Republicans came out and condemned it. I wish all of them would. Just like I thought it was reprehensible that the internet fever swamps had cooked up that there was some conspiracy theory when Donald Trump was shot in Butler. I think it's terrible that fever swamps and the president are cooking up conspiracy theories around this. I hope this man is investigated.
But it's not really a conspiracy theory. Everything points towards one thing. You're going to have to give actual evidence towards it not being staged. There's no real evidence towards Trump being shot in Butler that it was staged. There's evidence that it was a conspiracy, as far as from maybe or maybe the FBI and other agencies possibly being involved, because there was a whole mess of miscommunication, quote unquote, and other things. How did the man even get up there to begin with? How was he not spotted? Things like that. So yeah, just that's a whole. Once again, they're trying to equivocate. It's just they're not the same.
I hope they throw the book at him, because when we have a culture where people who run for public office and are in the public eye are under threats of violence, and this again did start with Trump,
but isn't that a moment precisely when Trump should not say something like, "Hey, she probably faked it"? I mean, it's been hours, like not even
100%.
Okay, this brings me to the other thing: who they can feel like they can speak ill about and the limits of that. They came up against a hard limit with Alex Preddy, right? Calling him a domestic terrorist after he died at the hands of ICE. Here is the president on Tuesday. You're going to hear a very different tone than what we heard from the administration over the weekend.
Do you agree with the assessment from some of your own officials that Alex Preddy is a domestic terrorist or an assassin?
Well, I haven't heard that, but certainly he shouldn't have been carrying a gun. But hey, look, bottom line, everybody in this room, we view that as a very unfortunate incident, okay? Right. Everyone, unless you're a stupid person.
Yeah, it was a pretty good line from the president. I think what he meant to say was that he should have been carrying a gun in the situation in which he was in. Not that he should have been carrying a gun at all, because actively obstructing police, law enforcement, and putting himself in that situation while he had a firearm is an instant force multiplier, and instantly increases the force continuum with which law enforcement has to apply. Angry Cops has a great breakdown of that in, I believe, his latest video on the Alex Preddy situation. If anybody wants to go and watch that.
I mean, I think there are a lot of people who would like to see fewer people carry guns in the country. A lot of them are not Republican voters. So
one of the things I want to go back to has to do with, here we go. It's once they get him on the ground, he is surprisingly docile. And he only has one person on him who's looks to be about the same size as him, maybe a little smaller, but he's just down on the ground, not doing anything. You would think if he was trying to attack somebody, one, he wouldn't have immediately backed off on her, but two, he would be trying to get away.
Back, but also
and look, he's being held down. He's not being restrained by his legs at all. At all. His hands are tucked in on the sides, so he's only being defensive, but he's not fighting. He's simply laying there, waiting to be restrained.
Leaders.
God. See? Yeah, he tries to rise a little bit, or possibly he was picked up. And now we have a second person joining. So I just thought that was a very interesting way to look at it, because I was a corrections officer. I'm used to restraining people. It's just very odd to me. So yeah, those are the things that I really wanted to cover today as far as last week's Libs. Is there anything that you guys really want to see or talk about? If so, I can open up the panel. If not, then I'm going to go ahead and close it out. I'll give that a couple minutes. That's true, Dave. Yeah, knowing that was coming isn't necessarily evidence that he was in on it, but it's definitely interesting. Yeah, I agree. I wasn't trying to say that he was definitely in on it, but yeah, it was just that little bit of, And Dave, I tried to add you as a moderator, and for some reason your name is not coming up on here. F1323. Nope. When I type in that full name, it comes up as the only name that comes up is that one girl. And it's not the same picture, so I don't think that's you. Music might be a little too loud. There we go. Hope you can hear me before, Dave. All right, sounds good. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Let me know what you guys think in any comments as far as at the end of the video. If there's anything, any critiques, of course, I'm more than welcome to hear it. Like I said, this was my first live stream, but if you guys want to see any more, any other specific subjects during the week, you guys know where where I can be found in Discords. Just let me know.